Evelyn stands in the pre-dawn gloom outside the iron gates of St. Coldus Clinic, her battered satchel pressed close beneath a borrowed work jacket. She blends with a knot of street sweepers, pushing a broom across damp cobblestones as the first ministry convoy rumbles to life. The wagons, their paintwork marked with the circle and bolt sigil, idle by a concealed side entrance. Security personnel, crimson-trimmed uniforms visible beneath slickers, sweep the area with flashlights. One handler's dog sniffs the gutter, only a few paces away from Evelyn's boots. She had planned to observe from the bakery's upper window, but the convoy departs ahead of schedule, forcing her to abandon her vantage. As the first wagon pulls out, she keeps her head down, eyes flicking to the ministry's coded markings on each vehicle. A watcher in a low-brimmed hat lingers by the alley mouth, scanning faces. Evelyn angles her broom, moving with the sweepers to the curb, shadowing the convoy's progress. The lead vehicle stops at a nondescript service arch. A ministry official unlocks a heavy iron gate, revealing a ramp and a downward sloping corridor disappearing beneath the city. Evelyn memorises the sequence of hand signals between guards, catching the circle lightning gesture that matches Edmund's journal notation. Her pulse pounding, she slips from the group, ducking behind a trash cart. The convoy disappears into the underbelly of Atheros, and Evelyn, unnoticed, darts toward a side stairwell as the watchers shift their focus. She slides her satchel strap higher, scans for cameras, and descends into the darkness, determined not to lose the trail. Evelyn slips into a shadowed alley, glancing over her shoulder as a watcher lingers at the mouth, cigarette ember glowing. The main maintenance hatch is sealed, barred with a ministry padlock and thick chain. She pauses, weighing options, then recalls the ventilation shaft she mapped with Edmund months before. Palming a small screwdriver, she pries open a rusted grate and squeezes into the narrow space, knees scraping decades of dust and brick fragments. The shaft is choked with debris and the acrid tang of old oil. Her jacket snags, tearing at the elbow. Her hands are soon slick with grime and blood from a fresh scrape. Above, she hears the echo of boots and the clipped radio chatter of a watcher patrol. She freezes, breath held as the watchers pause directly overhead. Their voices fade, and she inches forward, feeling the shaft angle downward. The passage opens above a maintenance corridor, just as the convoy's low engines rumble below. Evelyn quietly lowers herself onto a ledge, boots landing with a muffled thud. A quick scan reveals no cameras in this blind corner. Edmund's blueprints were right. She wipes her hands on her coat, catches her breath, and listens as the convoy's echo vanishes around a bend. Steeling herself, she slips into the darkness of the tunnel, guided by the faint metallic scent and the memory of Edmund's diagrams. She moves in utter darkness, brushing past leaking pipes and corroded signage. Her only light, a battered pen torch flicked on for seconds at a time. The convoy's rumble is distant, but still trackable, echoing through the warren of service tunnels. Evelyn finds her path blocked by a malfunctioning security drone. A battered orb, its lens blinking, and servos whine in as it sweeps the corridor with a stuttering electric whir. The direct route is impossible. Evelyn scans above and finds a narrow maintenance catwalk suspended over a deep, brick-lined channel. She tests a loose rung, heart hammering, then edges out, balancing on the slick metal. The drone's camera whips toward her as she crosses, its light flaring. A tense instant as she freezes mid-step, breathless. The drone's motors choke and it swings back, distracted by a rat scurrying across the far wall. Evelyn seizes the moment and darts the final steps, dropping into a shadowed alcove with a scrape of boots on concrete. Below, she sees the convoy come to a halt at a dimly lit transfer platform. The wagons hiss, brakes releasing, and uniformed ministry guards step out, their weapons slung. Evelyn tucks herself deeper into the alcove, camera in hand, her own reflection faint in a cracked utility mirror. She readies herself, knowing this is her chance to witness what happens next. Concealed in her alcove, Evelyn steadies her slim camera and watches as the convoy's rear doors open next to a railway platform. The first to emerge are frightened women and men, a few clutching battered satchels, others herded by ministry guards with curt practice gestures. Guards bark orders. No church robes here, only the crimson trim of the ministry. Surveillance drones sweep overhead, their lenses glinting in the dim light. One drone pauses, its gaze lingering suspiciously at the alcove's shadow, but moves on. Evelyn snaps silent photographs. Faces, uniforms, the stenciled destination codes on crates and train cars. Her heart pounds as a woman, startled by a guard's shout, begins to sob. A cry that echoes up toward Evelyn's hiding place. A guard steps closer, scanning the alcove's darkness, hand on baton. Evelyn flattens herself, every muscle taut, not daring to breathe. The guard peers, then, convinced by the shadows, moves on to the next wagon. The intake continues. Citizens are shepherded through a side gate, lined up on the train platform, with the ministry seal marked against its wall. Fear and confusion are palpable. The rumours Evelyn traced now playing out before her eyes. As the platform empties, Evelyn spies a supply hatch left ajar on the last car. She tucks away her camera, mind racing, and slips down from her alcove, moving with silent purpose toward the open hatch. Moving with quick, cautious steps, Evelyn squeezes through the half-open supply hatch, lowering herself into the cramped compartment just as two guards approach for a routine cargo check. She flattens against the bulkhead, pressing herself behind stacked crates marked medical and provisions, the air thick with the scent of bleach and steel. The guard's boots thud overhead. One swings a flashlight into the compartment, the beam slicing through the gloom. Evelyn holds her breath as the light passes inches from her face. "All clear," one guard mutters, sounding bored. They slam the hatch and move on. The compartment vibrates as the train lurches forward, plunging deeper into the undercity. Evelyn's ribs press against sharp crate corners. Through a vent, she hears muffled conversation. Guards joking about their shortened shift, one mentioning a new intake quota. She listens for details, straining to catch every word. The transport rattles through abrupt turns, fluorescent lights flickering through slits in the door. Her camera is wedged in her lap, ready for any opportunity. The tension is suffocating, but Evelyn remains undetected as the journey continues, the ministry's overconfidence working in her favour. The train picks up speed, heading into a more fortified sector of the labyrinth below. The transport plunges through a maze of rails, the clatter echoing in Evelyn's ears. She shifts position, peering through a narrow slat as the car slows at a fortified checkpoint. Ministry personnel in grey coats step aboard, arguing in clipped voices with the train's conductor. "Manifest says 37, not 36, one snaps, waving a clipboard. "Processing hubs at capacity. Next stop is overflow." Evelyn strains to see the documents, making out coded symbols and a schematic of branching routes, The guards argue over intake categories, using euphemisms: priority, deferred, unsuitable. The air grows tense. A directorate agent, face half lit by a signal lamp, boards to inspect the lead cars. Evelyn's breath catches. As the argument intensifies, Evelyn slides closer to the vent, risking exposure to glimpse a manifest page, a list of destinations, each with a blocky code, including one she recognises from Edmund's journal. The checkpoint clears. The train lurches onward, passing through locked gates and flickering blue lights. The guards resume talk, grumbling about processing and the pipeline. Evelyn's anxiety mounts. Her only escape is forward, toward whatever lies at the next hub. She readies her camera, knowing the next stop will be crucial. As the train halts with a pneumatic hiss, Evelyn watches through the slats as the doors open onto a cavernous intake platform. Floodlights reveal a line of frightened citizens herded from the cars, overseen by ministry guards, and for the first time, directorate agents in stark uniforms. Intake banners display coded symbols, one matching a cipher in Edmund's journal. A directorate inspection team boards, methodically searching compartments. Evelyn ducks beneath a stained canvas tarp, disabling her camera's flash and muting the shutter. The inspectors pass within arm's reach, flashlights flicking across crates and canvas. She snaps quick, silent photos, guards sorting citizens by colour-coded wristbands, officers checking ledgers, a wall-mounted manifest showing the site's official designation. Citizens are separated, some led into a side corridor, others left standing with blank stares. A tense moment as one inspector pauses, peering at the tarp. Evelyn lies motionless, camera pressed to her chest. Satisfied, the agent moves on. The inspection ends, the platform filling with the low buzz of processing. The first direct evidence of the operation's next phase. Evelyn, nerves raw, slips from her hiding place as the intake line forms, blending with the shadows at the edge of the admin corridor. Evelyn slips into the admin corridor, pressed against the wall as staff and guards hurry past. Suddenly, an alarm blares, a surprise roll call. All staff and visitors must present badges at a checkpoint just ahead. Evelyn ducks behind a laundry cart, rummaging through discarded uniforms until her fingers close on a battered ministry badge. Pinning it to her collar, she joins the line, heart pounding. A guard glances at her badge, barely taking note, distracted by commotion elsewhere. Evelyn moves quickly, snapping photos of intake logs and manifests left unattended on a desk. She snatches a folded manifest, its header marked with the Project Ascension code. Staff rush about, herding citizens into holding rooms labelled by number. The roll call ends as quickly as it started. Evelyn, badge tucked away, edges toward a side door. In the chaos, she passes a stack of intake forms, names, categories, coded site designations. The evidence in her hands is a direct link between the ministry, directorate, and the fate of the vanished. She hears a sharp voice. Did someone just come from laundry? A guard's head turns her way. Without hesitation, Evelyn darts through the door, disappearing into the shadows as the facility begins to quiet. As Evelyn slips into a dim corridor, a guard's flashlight sweeps behind her, movement in the shadows. You, stop! The alarm klaxon erupts, echoing down the tiled hallways as steel doors begin to slide shut. Evelyn sprints, dodging a startled staffer as red lights strobe overhead. She spots a cracked maintenance hatch. Edmund's advice to always know the exits rings in her ears. She drops a folder of stolen documents to squeeze through, scraping her knuckles raw as she pulls herself into the shaft. Boots thunder behind her, but she yanks the hatch closed just as a guard reaches for her leg. In near total darkness, she slides down the narrow shaft, landing in a shallow pool of cold water. The shouts and alarms are muffled above. Clutching her camera and the manifest pressed inside her coat, Evelyn stumbles through the maintenance passage, heart pounding. She emerges into a drainage tunnel, bruised and soaked but free. She allows herself a single breath of relief. The cost is real. Evidence left behind. A facility now on high alert. But she has escaped with hard proof, and the ministry's net is closing. She limps on, seeking a place to regroup before the next sweep. Evelyn staggers through ankle-deep water, the tunnel walls slick with greenish mould. She finds a dry alcove beneath a rusted ladder, drops her satchel and checks her camera. Its waterproof pouch has saved the memory card. Several pages from the manifest are soaked, ink running in illegible streaks. Cursing softly, she lays them out to dry on a warm vent. She pulls out her battered journal and encodes the facility's name and coded designation using the cipher she and Edmund devised. Her fingers tremble as she reviews the images. Frightened faces, directorate agents, intake banners, and the manifest header. Clear evidence of the Project Ascension pipeline's next phase. She transfers the most critical images to a hidden memory chip, tucks it into a patch pocket, and burns a handful of ruined pages with her lighter to avoid leaving a trail. Footsteps echo faintly from a distant tunnel. She is not alone down here. Evelyn zips up her satchel, wipes her hands clean and listens, every sense alert. The processing hub's identity is now known, but so is her presence in the tunnels. She moves off, determined to secure her findings before the directorate closes in. Navigating a web of side tunnels based on the plan she's been studying and a rough estimation on the time of the train journey, Evelyn stops to rest for a little. She hopes she has put enough distance away from the ministry's reception centre and has found her way towards one of her network's last remaining dead drops, a hollow drainpipe by a scorched statue in the town square above. She kneels, heart racing, and reaches for the hiding place, only to find the brick loose, the hollow empty, save for a scrap of cloth and a muddy boot print. Someone has beaten her here. She glances around, senses pricking. Was it Mara, Jonas, or a directorate sweep? She quickly descends back down into the tunnel and selects a new hiding spot. A rusted pipe elbow above the waterline. She slides the memory card and ciphered notes into a waterproof pouch, securing it deep inside, and scratches a coded mark on the wall, a signal to any ally who might pass through. Sirens echo faintly from above, and the tunnel air vibrates with distant machinery. Evelyn's confidence is shaken, her network is shrinking, and the directorate is closing in. She steps away from the new dead drop, boots splashing, and moves deeper into the tunnel system, scanning for any sign of pursuit or recent passage. Her eyes catch a flicker of red ahead, a smear of blood, a torn scrap of fabric, and a discarded ministry badge. Her sense of urgency sharpens. She is not alone in these tunnels, and the stakes have never been higher. Evelyn follows the trail, shoes squelching as she rounds a bend into a wide tunnel intersection. The walls are splattered with fresh blood. A ministry badge lies half submerged in the runoff, its number visible in the weak light. The distant thunder of an explosion rattles the pipes, trouble on the surface or a diversion below. Evelyn crouches, searching for clues. A torn strip of coat, the scuffed heel print of someone running. She pauses, heart aching. Could it be Jonas? Mara? The echoes of watchers' boots filter down from a distant access grate. Sirens wail above, and the city's unrest seeps into the underworld. Evelyn hesitates for a long moment, torn between retracing the bloody trail to search for her ally, or pushing forward toward the next coded destination in the pipeline. Her fingers close over the battered satchel, and the new map pressed to her chest. With a bitter resolve, she chooses forward, into the unknown, toward the next ministry site. She slips down an unmarked side passage, her silhouette swallowed by darkness. Above, alarms and shouts multiply. The hunt for her is on, but Evelyn is already gone, a shadow chasing a conspiracy ever deeper into the heart of Atheros.